Rule 42. All persons more than a mile high must leave the court immediately.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Today's rule is rule number 29. Network. Always network, because you never know who you're going to meet.
So, hi, Brittany. My name's Audrey. So this is Rule 42. We're missing my cohorts who should be joining us at some point shortly, hopefully. Her name is Jen, and then you spoke to Tommy already.
Yeah.
Yep. I am so interested to find out so much more about you. So I have ADHD. Tommy, soon.
So this will go great.
It will. We'll probably have 20,000 discussions. We will circle back and always come back to the original point. And there goes Jen. See, yep. Original point.
Hi. Hi.
Okay. So let's dive in because I actually have so many questions for you. So I know that you're in the real estate market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing. I was actually in that space, and then I realized that I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Just because you pass a test does not mean that you are made for a position or a job. And that was not my forte. And I have to say, you look absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
And how long have you been in the real estate?
I've been a realtor for 11 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are you a broker?
No, just an agent. I don't want it to take charge of anybody else.
That's a big deal. Not everyone passes that test, so bravo. Yes. And not everyone sticks to it.
Right. I've seen all the different markets, the foreclosures, the COVID market, like everything.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Where do you see things going right now? Because things have been kind of like teetering.
Right. Everybody's scared, but I feel like they're scared for no reason. I mean, either way, rates are down right now, so it's actually a good time to buy. And people are like, let's just wait till the election, which honestly, I don't think is anything to anything. So it's actually a really good time to buy because people are waiting, rates are lower, and regardless of how the election goes, it depends on the market you're in, but in areas that are growing, values are going to continue to go up. If they're predicting rates to continue going down. So I think we're going to hit the new year really strong.
You heard it here. Brittany said it. Bye.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And I know that you have a child that is also ADHD.
Yep. We all got them diagnosed around the same time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so intentionally or something where, you were getting him help and then they were kind of looking at you like,
Well, I actually didn't know that I had it as bad as I do. I knew had some kind of ADHD or ADD, something at a younger age, but he didn't really get diagnosed. It's kind of hard to tell because, toddlers are wild all the time anyways. But there was like a few things that I'm like, why does this affect you so weird? Like red dye. I don't know if it's red or what color it is, and I am not one of those people that's like, oh, I don't
red dye.
Like, I'm like, dude, eat McDonald's if you want. I don't care. But I noticed that dye really affected him in a weird way when he was probably like 18 months old. And it wasn't like it made him more hyper. It made him like very emotionally unstable, which was weird. Like on Christmas, if he like got into his stocking or Easter, he got into his basket, he would just like start crying. And he doesn't cry. You could like run over him with your car and he would like get up totally fine. He's not a crier. But every time he would eat candy, he would just like sit on the floor and cry. And I'd be like, what's wrong? And he's like, I don't know. And he would just cry for like an hour and a half for no reason. So that was like something that I kind of just like picked up on when he was little. But I want to say I was getting divorced back when he was starting kindergarten. I was going through a divorce and I was seeing a counselor and he started talking to the counselor also. And she was the one that was like, I think you should have him tested just so we know if it's just ADHD that we're dealing with. Instead of, there's so many things they test for, especially to kids.
Yes.
So we got on the list for that, which was like a 9-month long waiting list to get him actually tested. And in the meantime, I was talking to her just because my life was like an absolute shitstorm. And I was like, okay, cool. I probably do have ADHD too, but like, let's survive this first and then we'll deal with it. So once I kind of got through that, was kind of around the same time where he was finally in with the like psych eval. And so he did that, which was like a 3-hour, 4-hour long conversation with some lady. I wasn't in there for that. And he just has ADHD but he's severe inattentiveness and hyperactivities. But thank God he has like a genius level IQ, which they test for in that also. So as far as school, luckily he understands everything. So it comes natural for him. It's just keeping him dialed in.
So that's what I have. So I have ADHD. I was like such a hot mess in school, and I don't know how they handled me. I actually also feel bad for my family because I don't know how they were. I mean, I was the one that was singing Disney songs, jumping on your bed at 2:00 in the morning because I was just
ready to go.
Yeah,
Still are. You still are though.
I still am. It hasn't changed. I know what it is and I know where it's coming from. And I have children that are very much like that. And in the beginning, it's a lot easier to redirect them, is what they say. They can refocus them, but they just can't, like a butterfly goes by and it's like, oh, they've just lost my child because she followed the butterfly outside.
Yeah.
And then as she's gotten older, it's become a problem because now it's just stuff that's not, she does math off of her head. So she will just write down an answer and they're like, well, how'd you get that answer? And she's like, is it wrong? Well, no, it's right. But how do you get it?
In his eval, the doctor or whatever, I don't remember what she was called, that did it, said that his disconnect is from brain to like pencil. So a lot of times when I'm like, he gets like task paralysis. If I'm like, okay, you have to like write this sentence down. He's like, I'm going to write a sentence? Like, why would I do that? Like, explain your answer. And he's like, nah, it doesn't matter. I got it right. Who cares? I'm like, no, you have to do it. But like, where he's mostly affected in school is like the routine stuff. Like,
okay,
his teacher was like, oh yeah, every day they're supposed to bring like 3 items from their backpack in every day. And she's like, he always has to go get his 3 things. Like months into the school year, he's still like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like that's where the ADHD forget affects him at school. It's not necessarily understanding what's going on. It's the routine of things. Like, he forget everything. I'll be like, hey, go grab a sweatshirt upstairs. And he'll, like, go upstairs, and he comes down with no sweatshirt. And he's like, I don't know why I just brushed my teeth. I'm like, dude. Yeah, it's like he's just, like, thinking of so many things. Yeah, he's not. I have to be like, yo. I look at him like this, and I'm like, okay, what did I just say? Okay, sweatshirt and socks. Go get those. And he's like, I'll, like, repeat it back.
Uh-huh.
And then
no, you can't let them walk. You got to make sure they go do it. Yeah, I've lost a few of them on the way to go get their sweatshirt. Yeah, you're like, and then they don't come back
without the item.
Like, we're leaving. Yeah, why didn't you come back? Well, I forgot where I was going and what I was doing, and then I started playing on TikTok. Well, yeah,
for sure.
You all have to get in the car.
Yes. Yeah,
it's an adventure, but it's an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
What would life be without adventures? So.
I mean, boring, but I feel like ours are both like they affect us differently. And then I have my second son. He's like OCD type A, which like I can't imagine if all 3 of us were like, that would be crazy. But he's always like, if I give them each like a to-do list of chores, like my younger one, like my older one will be like, oh my God, no, I can't. It'll just be staring at the paper like with task paralysis. And then my younger one will be like, yes, I check all his out. He's like, can I do his?
Oh,
yeah.
They balance each other.
Yeah, I mean, he's crazy in his own way, but not the same.
We all have that level of kind of, where are we going today in life? And I don't know. You tell me, we'll redirect each other, and then we'll refocus and find out at the end of it. I hate when people try to get me like, yeah, they're like, what are you doing all week? I don't, can I just get through today? Leave me alone.
Yeah. I know that's one thing with my job, because I work with my mom. Actually, we're a team, and she's type A.
That's awesome.
And she's like, okay, next week you have to do. I'm like, don't tell me what I'm doing next week. I'm like, tell me the day before I'm doing it, because every single day is different, which I feel like is hard when you're ADHD, because routine is easier. But I actually like it because then I don't get bored because it's different every day. But she's talking to me about something that's in 3 days, and I'm like, tell me before I go to bed the night before that I'm meeting these people, because I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about what I'm doing right now.
I get in so much trouble. I will literally forget that I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And I'll walk away, and people actually, and they take it personally, and they think that it's like, oh, well, you're not interested in, oh yeah. People don't even, like, people take it personally. Like, I don't mean to, like, it's not that it's not important either what we were discussing or what I was telling you. It's literally that my mind has gone somewhere completely different. I am now obsessed with something else. I have to figure this out. Yes. And they don't understand.
Right. I think it does help for me to write things down. If I don't write it down, like, I'm definitely forgetting it.
But you're in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, anytime I have to write it down, like, even I use like a paper calendar, because if I use my phone, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing when I'm typing, because I'm like talking to somebody or whatever. Like, we're always on our phone, so we're multitasking all the time. So I'm not paying attention to what I'm putting in. If I don't write it down, like, we're gonna miss it.
You're my favorite person now, Brittany, because you use a paper calendar, and there's very few of us left that use them, but that's so key to me, at least.
I have a 3-month calendar behind my door. Otherwise, I will not remember my life.
Yeah, I have a dry erase calendar on my wall. So I just dry erase and we add there. So that's how we manage.
Well, I had a big one, but then every time I was like, oh, let me go home and look at my calendar. So I got a smaller one, like an actual like planner size one. And then now I just bring this everywhere with me. So I have it with me. But I have, like, with the boys' schedule, and they're with me, like, I probably have like 90% of the time custody. So they're with me pretty much all the time. And they both have different schedules because they're on 2 different football teams, because they're 2 years apart. So they have, like, oh, you're supposed to wear the orange color out. You're supposed to wear the black color out. So I'm trying to keep all of that straight and who's where. And then also my schedule's different every day. So, like, I'm meeting clients for whatever. And then now I'm doing this TV show that's real estate and lifestyle focused. So a lot of times I'm meeting people for that. So there's, like, so many things that don't go together that are going on, like, all the time. And then also, like, I have groceries and all these other things. So it's like I literally have to write every single thing down, or I will totally forget to do it.
How many screenshots of things that do you have in your phone that you say you look back at and you never do?
So many. I, like, will look through my photos and I'm like, what are all these? And then I'm like, I never went back to that. Never went.
You intend to?
At least it's there.
And I'd love to talk about your show. How long is your show? Have you been involved in your show, the real estate lifestyle?
Yeah. So I got invited in July, which it was really a lot in the beginning, because they're like, oh yeah, you're only gonna, like, film like 4 hours every other month. Like, it's a short. I'm like, okay, cool. It doesn't sound like a very long time commitment, but it's a lot with just, like, scheduling and lining it up with who you're going to feature on it and planning in advance. And then you got to meet their deadlines. So it is kind of a lot of work, kind of behind the scenes, I guess.
They left out the 4 hours not involved. That didn't involve just the taping part. They left out all the other hours. Yeah.
Right. So I just did my second episode last week. So now that that's done, I feel like I can like kind of breathe for like 2 weeks, and then I got to start figuring out what I'm going to do for the next one and where I'm going. Because they kind of, like, put it on you to do whatever I kind of want with it. So I can go where I want, to whatever town, showcase whatever business, showcase whatever house I want to do. But there's so many options, and it's like, it's only every other month that it airs. So I want to make sure that I'm leveraging the timeline right with whichever. Like, there's a lot more strategy involved with, like, how I decide what I'm going to do.
Is it just Michigan, or is it everywhere, or just Michigan?
It's everywhere, actually, but mine is obviously in Michigan because that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You should feature Audrey. She's got houses in Miami and in Connecticut.
Oh yeah. Well, there's hosts probably there. I don't know if it's Connecticut, but Florida for sure.
Oh my God, the houses in Florida are amazing.
Yeah.
They're just so expensive right now.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
But you see them being built up, and it's just like, yes, this is what I want. The problem with Florida is it sucks you in. Florida has this beautiful ambiance. The people are amazing. The houses are gorgeous. The atmosphere is just like, and you open the door and that heat smacks you in the face.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is it? No. So I'm still dying right now. I think we're in the fall, but I was originally going to film outside. And within like 3 minutes, I was covered in sweat. And I was like, yeah, no, this isn't happening. So I'm filming inside, but it's too hot down here.
I like the heat. I mean, I know it's probably a lot year round, but I probably like it more because I live in a cold state and I hate the cold. So,
well, what's the temperature now where you are?
Today is actually really nice out. We actually had the hottest September. I'm in Michigan, but we had like the hottest September that I can even remember. It was like 90 almost the whole time. Today it's a high of 66 and sunny. So like chilly, but it's at least sunny. But I feel like Michigan's just so dark and freezing, like 8 months out of the year. Maybe
Is it really? Does it get dark sooner?
It's like dark at probably 5 o'clock in November. Like dark.
New York's like that too, then.
Oh, New York, Connecticut's the same.
Like the sun starts going down like 4:30. You're like, should I get my pajamas on?
I know.
It's
like that.
So seasonal depression is definitely a thing.
Oh yeah.
Because down here during the winter, it was just amazing. So Florida's amazing during the winter time because the weather is perfect. It is like perfect fall weather, I guess.
Right.
But then you go up to Connecticut and New York because I travel a lot for business, and I'm like, why is it dark now? What's happening? Well, where did all the people go? And why aren't people happy and laughing and, walking around in comfortable clothes and, partying? Why is everybody like asleep at 5 o'clock?
They're hibernating.
They are hibernating and they're hiding from the freaking bears.
I just want to go back because we talked about your TV. Like, how did you get into that and how did you do when you first started? Because it's not very easy to just become a TV host. So you want to talk about that a little bit, like how you took to it?
Yeah. So the TV show actually reached out to us. And like I said, I work with my mom. And earlier this year, I started doing more branding and marketing on social media just for my business. I'm on like Instagram, Facebook. And we started getting some more recognition and some more opportunities, even though they were more like PR opportunities. I was just saying yes to everything. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so that's kind of why my schedule is full of a lot of weird things, because like a lot of work things, but then a lot of networking stuff, and whether it's collaborating on something with another business owner that's local. And I think they just kind of found us through that and then invited us to be hosts. And then we kind of went through the whole onboarding process with them and just went from there.
Networking is so important. I don't think that, and I try to like emphasize this to my kids, and I know that's weird because it's my kids, but you don't realize just how much you get done through networking.
Right.
People want things kind of to just come to them, but if you're not willing to work and put yourself out there and like put yourself in front of the people, then it's not really going to matter how hard you work in a different area. You need that networking.
Mm-hmm. Which networking for me, I'm a super extrovert, so I like going to the things and meeting people. I'm not extroverted online. I feel like, I don't know. It's
really,
it just seems, I don't know. I'm not like I don't like to be scripted and like feel fake and like it's staged or something. So like doing real estate videos at first when I started, I was like, I hate this, But I could like talk in a conversation all day long. But if you tell me something to say and I have to like think about it, then my brain is like, what? Yeah, but I'm getting used to it.
It took us forever to do. He gave us a scripted when we first started the show. He was trying to like script us. He's realized that I don't handle scripts very well. No, because I'll start laughing. I'll make new words.
Or I'm like, I don't like that word, and then I'm stuck on the word. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned this to you, Brittany. So I'll write questions for the girls and bios for every episode, and they just never use them. It's always
every now and then we do go up to your questions if there's a dull little lull.
Once in a blue moon, but mostly again, and like Audrey said, we did the trailer, and it was kind of a disaster.
Oh, I don't script well. That's why this is kind of going all over the place. But I love finding out more about you and finding out how you got into this, and now knowing that you're more of an extrovert in person, but not so much online, and yet a network reached out to you based off of your social like networking, that is freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I've just been like making myself do it because I hate doing it. I'm like, I don't want to be that person that's always selling something. And now I'm literally the person that's selling everything. but
it's where you're good. It works.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I also was kind of like, all right, life is just getting so expensive. And like, there's so much money to be made everywhere. So I'm like, I'm about to just monetize off of whatever I can at this point. And wherever I end up is where I'm going.
Exactly. People will say, well, are you in one field or do you specialize in one area? No, like if it's going to make me money, I'm going to take a chance at it. There is no limitation on what I'm willing to do. What you have a sweet 16 and you don't know what to do for it. And I've had a million parties and you want me to help you with it. No problem. I'll charge you.
Right. At least you got the creativity.
I can totally get it done. But again, people look at my life or my lifestyle and my situation and they're like, oh, well, you're comfortable or you're so lucky you get to do all of these things. But yeah, I also had to work really hard to do all of those things. And I never said no to an opportunity. Right. If it was going to bring me money, it could make me uncomfortable. It could make me completely pull me out of my comfort zone like this does. But why not? Yeah. That fear is the only thing that holds us back from everything in our lives that give us a chance to really experience it. And it's so short. And now as I'm getting older and people are dying and I'm getting super more sensitive for some reason, I'll take any risk. So I love that you have that, like, you know what? It is. The money's out there to be made. You just, what are you willing to do for it?
And a lot of times it's like, whatever these side networking things I'm doing, a lot of times will end up leading to something else that is related to my work, whether it's they have a friend that needs a house or needs somebody to work with their builder. You know what I mean? So it's like, you never know who they know. Even if you're like, why
in a working event?
Yeah.
And there's always an agent at networking events. Always.
Yeah.
And it comes in handy because a lot of times people end up either wanting to discuss a possibility and making a deal for like land somewhere. And, oh, look, this agent actually knows someone or is in that department. Right. And then it becomes a discussion that's had with 5 people that are at a networking event that may have never known each other when they walked in that door. And it can become something amazing or it becomes something nothing at all or anything can happen. But that's the freaking beauty of it. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And then those relationships end up multiplying as well because then they remember, oh, we went to this and this happened and this is the person that helped me through this. And now I have an opportunity to reciprocate. And it just, networking, man, so important, such a value.
Yeah. I feel like it goes quick too. Like the more you do it, well, maybe it's easier for me just because I am an extrovert, but I feel like it's like, it goes quick. If you just keep doing it and you keep saying yes to everything, like everything starts lining up really fast.
It's all about it's in here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To make sure you're in the correct mindset.
Yeah. That was me all the beginning of the year. Cause I was like, ew, I don't want to do these corny videos. Like, what am I doing? But then I was just like, I don't even care anymore. I got super.
But did you do you look back and like you look at some of them that you posted and you're like, what was I thinking? Or like you're like, this wasn't actually that bad. I don't know what my problem was.
I mean, I think at the time of sharing it, I was also still like, ew. I was not like, this is amazing. I can't wait. Like I was also like, let's wake up and embarrass myself today, whatever. And I still think that, but whatever. It got me a lot of business this year.
It did, and it's brought you into a TV show.
Yeah.
So we want to roll with that. And then you have your kids still that you're taking care of. So
yeah.
And your schedule is able to adapt to it. Yeah, but it's awesome. And how do you feel? Like, how do you stay on track with everything? Not just like time wise, but from like your mental health perspective. Like,
I really
it's a lot.
I don't know if it's the ADHD is really actually comes in handy because I have a lot of energy. So I'm never just like, oh, I feel like I'm burnt out. Like my brain gets burnt out sometimes, but I don't ever physically feel like tired. But I feel like my mental health has been great. I think I'm doing a lot of things and I'm pushing myself a lot more than I thought I would, but it's working. So that obviously makes me feel good because I'm doing all the things and I'm growing so fast. So that's great. I don't know. I work out every single morning. That's like the one thing that's actually consistent in my day. I work out at 8:30 and I do a class, so I can't have my phone with me, which I love because then I'm not distracted while I'm working out. And that's like my 1 hour to kind of like get my brain right for the day. Like, what do I have to do today? I'm like not distracted, but I'm moving. So I'm not sitting still because that's where we get distracted, right? So I feel like that's kind of a creative hour for me to really know what I have to do. And then I usually write down a list of, okay, this is what I have to do today. And then this is what I have to do this week. And then I'll try to get through the ones from today. If I get any off from the week, cool. If not, then those ones get moved to the next day. But then I also take a walk with my dog, usually at like 2 o'clock if I'm home, or if I'm not on appointments all day, I'll try to like, all right, let me go take like 20 minutes and like refocus what's going on because I'm like running in 1,000 directions, you know?
Is it impacting like your relationships? Because this is like even just like this like minimal routine. It's still a routine, and it's still something that you require in your day to like operate properly or function.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like as far as not having time for people, or is what affecting my relationship? Making
that time, making like fitting other people into your kind of like daily set. Yes.
Sometimes. I mean, I feel like you all probably, we multitask really well. So I feel like I'm good at responding to people, and I use my phone a lot for work. So I'm always on it. But I still, like a lot of times if I don't have like a lunch meeting, I'll go meet someone for lunch and like try to catch up with a girlfriend. Okay. Like every other week maybe. But a lot of my friends are at my kids' football stuff. So like the football moms. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
So like we'll go sit at practice for like an hour and catch up. Like, is that hanging out? Not really, but it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And then I feel like on the weekends we have a lot of social events too, which sometimes are hard to squeeze in. But I don't know. I have to just like not focus on other things during those times, which is hard sometimes, but I'm so social, so I like doing it. Like we have a wedding this weekend, so I'm going to have to like shut off everything else that's going on for a couple hours, where it's like sometimes it's hard, but it's good to keep those things because I am so social. So I don't know. I guess
that's
it doesn't.
So important.
Yeah. It doesn't really affect it. My brain hurts sometimes if I have a lot going on, but for the most part, I don't know how it just works out.
That's amazing. But do you feel like it's helped you like in handling your son, knowing like kind of having an idea of what it is that he's experiencing? Because look, being ADHD is not like people just. It's hard. It's not. It's hard.
Yeah, I think it does. It does help me understand. Well, in his like it affects him a little bit differently. But sometimes I'm like, why does this bother me? And then I'm like, oh, that's why that bothers him too. You know, like I can't start a task if I know I don't have enough time to finish it. Like that one's really bad for me. Because if I'm like, oh, I have all these things on my list today and I got like 3 meetings that I got to do. And like this stuff has to get done like while I'm at home. But I need to vacuum also. Like if I only have 20 minutes left to do something, I can't start vacuuming. I can't do it. I have to do the whole thing from start to finish. I can't vacuum for 20 minutes and then leave to take the kids to football and then come back and finish it. Like, I just need to get done. Yeah. That's like one thing where I have like a mental block. Like I cannot start something that I know I can't finish.
Well, I can't do that because I know I won't come back to it.
Yeah. I'm just like, why? The kids are going to come home and they're going to have like turf feet and the stuff's going to be everywhere. I might back to them, you know?
That's pushing it off and procrastinating.
Yeah, I'm whatever.
Nope, I get it. Now, is this something that your mom got you into? Like, how'd you end up in that arena?
Well, I didn't really want to. I was resistant at first, actually. So my mom started when I was like a senior or right after I graduated. And that was right when I graduated in 2006. So, 2008 was like the worst market. That was when like the crash happened. So I'm like, why are you working so hard for these like piece of crap houses that sit on the market for 1,000 years? Like what are you doing? But she would work. She's such a workhorse too, 'cause she's type A, like I said. And she would be working until like 3 a.m, like sending emails. I'm like, what? I definitely don't want to do that. And then, yeah, when I got pregnant with my son, she was like, I'm so busy now. Like, this was in 2013. She's like, I'm so busy now. I need like an assistant. I need somebody to work with me. Like, would you be interested in just getting your license and seeing like how it goes? And I'm like, I do not want to work until 2 a.m. and do all this whatever. But I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So I got licensed, and then I actually really liked it because obviously then the market was a little bit different, and it worked well with my schedule with him. So I could like bring him with me a lot of times. And then we kind of just, I mean, over the years, we worked together on a lot of things, but we were good at different things. So we've kind of, I feel like right now we're really in a groove where like she knows her role, I know my role. They're different, and that's
a partnership.
Yeah, we can get it done.
Just balance each other.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
you need that balance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, you guys don't live together, do you?
No, I feel like we're
Not
together. We're not physically together like ever when we're working on stuff, unless we're filming for something, or if it's like some type of listing appointment where we both need to physically see the house in person. But for the most part,
with you as well.
sometimes, it depends on what it is. Sometimes I definitely do more than she does, but again, we're both covering a lot of territory. So if I'm filming in one area and she's showing a house in another, like I'll just do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Brittany, when you got your diagnosis, was your mom like, was it a shock to her? Or was she like, oh yeah, that makes sense?
I feel like I didn't even tell her. Like I didn't like try to keep it a secret. But like when I was getting my diagnosis, this was like really, well, I don't know how I lived through this. Okay, you think I got a lot going on now? I was getting divorced. I was working as a real estate agent. I didn't receive, like I got absolutely no spousal support or child support at all.
And you had the two boys.
What?
You had the two boys.
Yeah, so I'm like, I have to work because I have to pay for everything, and now an attorney. And my ex-husband at the time was running we bought this fast food restaurant. I don't even want to say the name of it because I feel like they're gonna like come after me. But they make sandwiches. Anyways, so this was like his career, but my name was on the LLC, but I didn't know how to run it, whatever. I was doing real estate. I would occasionally like help if they were understaffed, but when we were separated, he was like, I'm never going in there again. And so I had to take it over, which we had like 2 employees that were, I mean, you can imagine who was working there. And it was just like, so I'm now babysitting all these adult babies and the star and trying to get divorced and trying to do all these other things. But because it's a franchise, there's so many regulations. Like you have to be open so many hours, which of course I had no access to any of this because I never did it. So I'm like trying to keep up on that, but it's like, how am I supposed to work my job that actually makes me money, that's taking care of all of us, while I'm required to be here this many hours a day because we are like legally supposed to be open this many hours a day. And I have like one employee that is in jail like every other day. So it was like, so this was kind of all around when I was, and still like then COVID hit and I was still going to court. So it was like, I had all those things going on.
To wake up your employee or for the divorce?
For the divorce. But we did get robbed at gunpoint during all that also. So literally, this is why I just didn't actually even tell my mom, because it was like the furthest thing down on my list that I'm thinking about. Like I didn't mean to not tell her, but I was just like, dude, there's so many more important things happening right now that like I don't even care about that.
No, it just kept getting pushed down the list.
Yeah, we know now. The last thing I'm worried about. Yeah. Yeah, she knows now, but I don't know. Again, like we're so busy that it's not like a topic of conversation.
Oh my God, I feel like if I was like told something about my child that just made like everything that we were experiencing together make so much more sense, I'd be like, oh my God. Now I don't feel crazy now that like this totally makes sense.
Yeah, I think she also just like she's so not ADHD, so like she doesn't really. I think it's probably like foreign to a degree to her, so she's probably just like, oh, it's something, I don't know, what are we doing now, and then we just do whatever we're doing.
Are you an only child?
No, I have an older brother who actually has ADD, and he did have it a long time ago. So we knew he had it. But like for some reason, I don't know.
So girls are commonly underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed because it comes off as different psychological disorders, and they weren't measuring it. And it's the same thing with certain autistic like spectrum disorders.
Right.
They're typically diagnosed female or males sooner than females because we just our things just come across differently. Plus, a lot of the stuff with us gets blamed on our hormones anyway.
Right.
The girls are also much.
Like, she's just hormonal.
They're also you're much better at masking too. Guys are not. Guys are just don't have that filter. Girls can kind of blend in where guys can't.
Yeah, his wasn't that bad. So, but I mean, we just never. I don't know. I never thought about it. But also, like, I feel like when I was in school, like, it wasn't that big.
No, because so we've actually had this conversation in terms of like what schools used to be like. And you just had the AP students, and then you had the like kid that just skated by, and there wasn't like a separation between like special ed and regular like classes though. It was just you were either in an advanced class or you were in a class with people that weren't doing the homework.
Yeah. And we didn't have like, I don't know. I just feel like there wasn't, and maybe I just didn't read it, and maybe there was a lot of information out there. But I think now there's so many more resources and there's so much more information that we understand it more, we recognize it more. Where back then it was just like, I don't know. You're
just hyper. They just thought you were hyper. Just
I don't know.
Running out a little.
I would literally walk out of my classrooms in the middle of like the teacher talking, and for no other reason that I had to move. And if you tried to stop me, I would start crying because I just had to move. And I was extremely smart. So like all of my classes were AP except for math, because for some reason numbers just don't work in my head. They make zero sense to me. Oh my God, I hate numbers. I don't understand why. I love people that understand it, but I don't know how they understand it, and God bless them.
Yeah, thank God both my boys like are really good at math, because I'll look at their homework and I'm like, you know how to do this, right? Okay, good.
I feel so bad when they ask me for help. I'm like, can we do this with a calculator? Like,
as long as it's not math, she can help you. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's what Google's for. If you don't know how to do it, Google it.
I couldn't. Teachers couldn't get me to figure out how to do it. You think Google's going to be any better?
Right.
You usually can Google the problem and it'll give you step by step how to do it.
Get like an answer. Oh, that sounds like cheating. That's so fun.
Well, feeding you, it shows you how to get to the answer. So it essentially is teaching you how to do it.
Well, hopefully nobody needs help with me from math. I've skated by so far.
Yes. I know.
No problem reading their essays.
There's numbers in my job that it's not. What'd you say?
Yes, there are numbers with your job, but they're not something that you have to really.
It's not. I don't do the math. Okay, I do like the Price is Right. I don't do the math. If you think about it, like the lender, he does your math. I shop. I find you the best price. I get it for the best price, or I make your house look really good and then sell it for a good price. I don't do math.
I have an agent in one of my properties, and they're renting it out, and he's Airbnb-ing it right now.
That works.
I was like, hey. He goes, and it just make it look more like appealing, and people will come faster to stay. And I'm like, yeah, that works.
There's a lot you can do. Not math.
But your math is probably good but when you see a place, you're like, okay, this is going to sell for $1 million, so 3% of $1 million is. You probably do know that, right?
Oh, for my own commission?
Yes.
I feel like that's jinxing it. I don't do that.
Oh, zero.
I feel like every time someone's like, oh, okay, this is the price, so I'm going to make this much. I don't do that. I feel like if you do that right away, then the deal always falls apart, or it's a headache deal. I'm superstitious with that. I do that at the end. I mean, for the most part, I kind of know because like I've gotten paid for similar deals, so I kind of know, but I don't know.
That's counting your chickens before they hatch.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like you jinxed it.
Yes. And then you know you're going to spend it before it's in your pocket, so you might as well wait for it to be there.
Right. Then you buy a car and then it doesn't close. You're like, oh, great.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't do that part.
I'm like,
something's going to be to like renovate. Like I can do math that way, but it's not really pen and paper math. Like I can say like, all right, redoing this is going to be this expensive. Am I going to be able to get my money's back when I sell it? okay, yes or no. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily math.
It's nothing like super intense where you're like, oh my God, my brain is shutting down right now.
I'm not
the algebra overwhelmed.
No.
Do you invest and flip too?
Yeah, we've done that before a couple of times. My boyfriend's also a realtor, so like there's so much real estate happening in my life, like we cannot get away from it. But we did a flip house a couple of years ago, and I mean I've flipped. Well, I don't know if I would say flipped. I flipped 2 that I lived in, and then the one that I'm in now, we've done a lot to it renovation wise. But I already know just from previous experience, like which projects I'm not going to take on because it's not worth it for your investment. So I can look at a house and say, okay, this is worth it because I'll get my money back if I invested in this project. But like, I'm not buying new windows. You know what I mean? Like that's a super good. I mean, it depends on the property if that's the only thing he needs. But like there was one that we had that was a potential flip, and it's in an area where the city is very involved with like the concrete, and the driveway was like totally jacked, and I'm like, that is not worth it. Because you're going to spend, like $40,000 on putting a new
just in a driveway,
required, and you're not going to raise the price $40,000.
Okay, people, you heard that? Do you hear what a driveway costs? Because I just learned what a driveway costs recently. It is expensive.
Yeah,
It does.
so stuff like that, I'm like, I'm not touching that. But I'll redo a bathroom.
Yeah, dang it! I'm like 2 years late from talking to you.
What's the biggest mistake that people make when they buy or invest in real estate? What have you seen?
The biggest mistake they make, I feel like it's not buying. I think a lot of people think that it's not time for them to buy or they have to save all this money to do it, and they really don't. It's a good time right now for anybody to invest. Whether it's in, take the equity out of your house and buy an investment property, like no matter what, especially in like the area that I live in, there's so many people that are coming in, like it's expanding so much that no matter what you buy, you're not going to lose money on unless you absolutely destroy it. There's so many people coming in on all different incomes. So it's like, unless you live in a very remote area that's just not growing fast, like there's always going to be people who need housing.
But do you feel like it's better to invest in something that you're eventually going to sell or something that you're going to rent? Or Airbnb, because that's become a big thing too now.
Right. I think it depends on the area you're in. Because a lot of places have regulations and ordinances that they have to follow for Airbnb. Rentals, it again depends on where it's at.
The name of your show.
There we go.
Oh, it's called The American Dream. So it's
Okay.
It's ADTV. It streams on Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon, all the other streaming platforms. There's a lot.
And are you so you have a lot that you've had go on up to this point in your life. And I feel like everyone that I've spoken to so far to this point, and I'm pretty sure that Tommy and Jen would agree with me, when you've gone through this much to get to the successful point you are now, they usually write a book. When will we be getting a book from you?
If people have been telling me that I should have a TV show or a book since I was like 22.
See,
There you go. You're into books, they'll make you that much money. So I really want to waste my time?
but you're leaving a legacy too.
I don't know, but I feel like I got a lot of momentum right now. So maybe I should wait a couple years because who knows what's coming. Like I'm moving so fast now.
Oh yeah, you don't know how much the story is going to change.
Yeah, so I should wait.
Well,
I could write like a 3-hour stand up of the fast food restaurant, but I don't know if I'm going to.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That would be amazing.
Were you there? Were you there when they got robbed, or was it one of your employees?
No, it was at night. So I was at home with my kids, and then I had to leave and go in, which they're sleeping. So I had to have somebody come get them. And then I went in, and all the police officers were like, so I don't know if they thought I was like really young or something. They're like, "Is your mom here?" I'm like, "I'm the owner. I don't know what's going on." Yeah. Yeah, it was
It's awful. You're already going in for something that's traumatic, and then it's like,
I know, but I'm also
your mommy, little girl.
I know. I'm like, I don't know. The whole thing was just, that whole thing in general was just a nightmare.
Please tell me you sold. Like, you guys are done.
Yeah.
I closed it.
You're out of that. You did. Oh, you did.
Well, I did have someone that was going to buy it, but then COVID hit, so that kind of ruined it. And then the guy left, It was like 2 days before we were supposed to close on it. And I was like giving it away. Okay. Like this was like failure in the max, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, just like gone. But I'm like, I have to get rid of it because I'm tied into these royalties and this lease and this, all the legal contracts because it was a franchise.
Franchise,
like, either I'm going to bleed to death for 10 more years or I'm just going to take one bullet to the face right now and figure out and move on, you know? So I tried to sell it. Then 2 days before we closed, he was like, I don't want it, which sucked because I just spent a ton of money on like transferring all like the licensing and everything to him, which they never gave me back. So that was fun. And then corporate got kind of screwy where they started dropping the ball a lot because I think there was a lot of like bad stuff going on with like the district people. They were like letting the businesses fail so then they could buy them really cheap and flip them. There was like a lot going on with that. Like I feel like it was like abuse, honestly. But finally, I had one employee for the last year. He is like my best friend ever. He's like 6 years old. And he would like bring his lawnmower in the back of his G6 and cut the grass. Like he was by far the nectar. He still texts me like every holiday. And like he's kind of rough, but he was a really good worker. And he was like, you're my only friend I've ever had. And I will like work so hard for you. And he really saved me with that because I don't know what I would have done. Like he carried it for like the last year. And then I ended up just closing it because I was like, I couldn't even give it to somebody for like $1 because it was just like there was so much legal stuff with it. And it was like COVID had just happened. And like there's so many regulations with it. And like, so we're done.
Wiped
the whole the local corporate office kind of fell apart. And they were like dropping things. So I was just like, I'm out. I can't, I feel like I'm carrying a dead body every day and I just need to bury it and move on.
And that is so important for like people to understand. And I think that people they look at things and they assume that if they fail at something, that means that they're a failure, period. And they just don't even try anymore. Like it is okay to do something and fail as opposed to never doing it at all. Because there's another opportunity that could come up, or like you're still getting that experience of making that leap. Like now you have something like owning that business. And no, it didn't work out the way that you hoped it would, but you still took that leap. And just a lot of people need to kind of be more aggressive with following the things that they want to do, because not everything takes a bunch of money either. It's just a matter of just jumping into it without being afraid to fail. Because yes, you can fail, but you can also succeed.
Well, I didn't feel like it was really my choice to jump into it. I like had to.
Your ex-husband did.
And I was forced to jump in, and that I did. So,
but you did, and you didn't have to. But you didn't have to jump in even then.
Right. I mean, I definitely learned a lot from the hell that whole experience was. Like, I never want
information you use now. Yeah.
What?
You'll stay out of that. No more franchises.
Yep. No more. I don't want a boss. Like, I feel like corporate was a boss. I don't want that. I don't want employees.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Oh, it is a lot. But you learn from it.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm just surprised he was able to dump it on you like that in a divorce. Like, by the way, I'm taking the house and you get the friggin' sandwich shop. Like, how did that work there? She's like, no, you take it.
They tried to have him be involved still, but I mean, the court doesn't really do anything. Like, that's the same thing with child support. People are like, well, why don't you get more child support? Or why don't people... They don't care. Like, they have other things. They're not... Like, I feel like they used to go after these people and make them pay or make them do that. But nobody's making anybody do anything anymore, so it's a waste of time. And it really is. I couldn't rely on somebody that I knew, which was honestly everybody that was working there. Didn't care about it because it was like, it's not going to get done. Whatever needs to get done.
Was in court for years, paying a lawyer for years for a child support issue. And to have the lawyer literally tell me, they're not going to make a decision for you. You guys need to come up with something on your own. Then why do you guys think that they keep on pushing the court date out? And they keep on pointing out things to each of you to get you guys to come to an agreement.
And then if they don't pay, they don't care.
Kidding me?
So,
yeah. It's like, because if you and it's not that they don't care. There's so many ways to skate around making payments on child support or getting caught for it, and there's so many avenues that they can use to kind of skate around the legality of it.
Right. Like show me you're doing something.
Yeah, but how do you then enforce it? Like, there was one guy that stopped paying his child support, so they came to his job and
or something?
No, they took the car.
Oh, really?
They repoed his car, and that he wasn't missing payments or anything on it. He just hadn't paid child support, so they repoed his car right from outside of his office.
Dang. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I know a lot of people, just like other moms who are divorced too, that are like owed tens of thousands of dollars.
If they don't have a certain amount of money in their accounts, you cannot garnish it. Right. Some of them will get employed by people that will pay them one amount on the books so that the other amount is under the table, and they can't attach it to child support. There are just so many sneaky, conniving things that people do that it's like it's an energy.
Try in a lot of things, which was a really, really hard reality, I think, at least for me, to just know that like what is justice to everybody else is really, it doesn't matter in a lot of things, because it's just not going to work out that way. Which is also why I feel like I just heavily rely on myself, because I feel like I've just been let down constantly by people, even like attorneys I've hired. I'm like, what? How did you do this? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It wasn't worth it in the business for sure, because I already had just flushed so much money down the toilet that I was just like, just get me out of here.
And you got out and you moved on. What did you move on to? Like, you were already a real estate agent though at this time, right? And it was just a hat that you took off.
Yep. So that really freed up a lot of my time to really focus on real estate. And I feel like once I could be buried that, I've had a lot more time to expand, which I think why I have so much more momentum now, because I'm putting so much more effort and time and energy into that. So it's growing faster now, which is good.
And and it's not something that you're trying to save from failing. This is something that you're growing from, that you grew yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you literally grew yourself.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And you're halfway there. Now you're going to have your show. You're on your second episode. Are you locked into a certain number of episodes, or is...
No, I can like opt out whenever I feel like it, but we'll probably have the third one. I'm guessing will be in like November, the filming of it.
Mm-hmm. Are you excited? And you'll start planning for that in 2 weeks?
I don't know. I need to start now, but I'll probably put it off a couple more days.
I get it. But putting it off, you'll have all this other time to like, it's going on in the back of your head. So by the time you actually get to it, you'll have all of these ideas that you've been thinking about anyway. So
I feel like right now I need to catch up on the other stuff that's been waiting for me to be done just filming that last one. So I'm still catching up right now on everything else.
So you have time, see? You have a few more days.
It's on my this week list, not my today list.
I think that's what I need to do. I need to make a today list with a this week list, because I have my monthly, but I really do need to start kind of not getting so overwhelmed by everything and just knocking shit out.
Yeah. But it's hard. If anybody's at my house, or if I don't have enough time to do it, then I can't start.
Exactly. And plans change all the time, especially in the industry you're in.
Mm-hmm. I know. One morning I feel like, oh my God, I have so much time to catch up. And then like I get a phone call and I'm like, shoot, now I have like 4 hours of work to do from that phone call that now I have to do tomorrow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that happens almost every day.
That's why I don't pick up the phone.
I have to.
I'll do it. Because I already get so many emails that lock me in like that I'm like, if I pick up the phone, I'm like, I don't know if I can handle anymore. I've literally had to respond to people that unfortunately they were the ball I had to drop. Well, in the moment, I'll come back to you, but...
Right.
Like sometimes they really are too many in the air.
Yeah, you're gonna drop something sometimes. For sure. It's hard.
I mean, at least I let people know.
Yeah, you're gonna be.
It's hard to pick.
I'm putting you off. Yeah.
Now I know.
Yep.
No, we just want to know where everyone can reach you and where they can find you online and any of
Yeah, so I primarily am on Instagram. My handle's just Brittany Racine. I think there's an underscore. And then on Facebook, that's mostly where I'm doing a lot of stuff. I have a real estate website, but I feel like nobody really goes through those. They look on Zillow or they look on Instagram and social media. That's the easiest, quickest way for sure.
It does seem like everyone uses Instagram now.
Yes.
That seems to be the big one where you do the most.
For sure.
Well, thank you for joining us today on Rule 42 and being a part of this rabbit hole. And again, we loved your frozen pictures. They were great. You constantly had a smile on your face. There were some amazing poses. I was like, does she know? What is it like telling her, okay, you're going to freeze now, pose.
Yeah, you're like, please just start dancing. She's dancing over there.
That was amazing, though. And thank you so much for being a part of our show. And the best of luck on your new show. We can't wait to read your book in a few years.
So exciting. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
One, two, three, 42.
Rule 42 is hosted by Audrey Cruz and Jen Burke. It is produced and edited by Tom Smith. The opening song is Rule 42 by Eddie Carr. Rule 42's artwork was created by Aubrey Cruz. And I'm your announcer, Molly Smith. Thank you for listening to Rule 42. We hope you enjoyed the show. New episodes premiere every Thursday on all podcast platforms. Please subscribe, share the show, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple.